Hi everyone, welcome to my channel as told by Hadia. This is going to be my review of Real Housewives of Potomac season 5 episode, I believe it's 18. So I just wanted to say, starting off, that Candace did a tweet. People are talking about the tweet. I just want to read it to you guys really fast. It's in reference to something that Monique said on the episode about it being legal or whatever. And she said, I made it legal because like they do in the zoo, you made it violent. But keep gaslighting. It's what we expect from your kind. Now, there, I guess, was some controversy around this. How do I feel about it? Well, first, I just want to say to Candace, I think you should apologize for the tweet. I do see a little bit now what they talk about when they say you have a little bit of a reckless mouth. I think that everything was cool until you said you're kind. Also, you didn't need to make the zoo reference. I think that you're putting your foot in your mouth a bit where you were right in this situation with you and Monique. Let Monique show her ass. Let Monique show her hand. But don't be sitting there blocking your own blessings and what you have going on by letting your mouth get in the way of it. You're prospering. You're acting. You're doing a lot of stuff. Let me be very clear to you, Candace. And this is because I like you a lot. You're my favorite person on the show. I think you have a bubbly, sweet personality. But let's be very clear. People are tweeting to try to get you fired from the show. This show is a good opportunity for you. Also, what if people say, well, we're not going to support the movies or films that Candace is in because of some of the stuff that she said? You know, it comes a point where you have to learn how to control yourself a little bit better. And listen, I've been there where I feel like I have to defend myself and I'm in defense mode. But during these episodes, say one or two things and move along. You know, I thought it was extremely unnecessary. And I think especially with me talking about colorism and all that stuff, I think you've internalized a little bit of colorism because what do you mean by your kind? It was kind of coded language. It sort of was akin to what I would think white people would say to black people. And it has a little bit of racist undertones. And I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but that wasn't cool, Candace. And I think that you should come out with a public apology. And I think you need to learn that you do not have to tweet all of this mess. Keep thriving, keep moving forward, keep pushing forward because you're having people not want to be Team Candace due to this shit. And so I just wanted to start off with that. Like, I don't like that tweet. And I think you should apologize for it. And I don't know why you let the stuff on this show get under your skin so much that you need to tweet about it. I don't think you're that person. I think that you're a sweet, bubbly person with a bubbly personality, but I think sometimes when you get into this realm, you let it go. You let yourself go. Like, you let this stuff get to you and make you super negative. And I don't think you should do that anymore. And so I just wanted to start by saying that because I love Candace. Candace is my favorite person on the show, but I'm going to hold people accountable. I ain't that type of person to be no yes man. So I think you should tweet an apology for that. I think it was doing way, way, way too much. On the flip side of that, I do understand you, but you still doing way, way, way too much. And I think you should apologize for it. And that'll show growth. Don't mess up what you have going on for nobody. That's all. Don't mess up what you have going on for anybody. Because that could affect you if people don't want to watch your stuff. Or if it's like, oh, well, you know, she's this type of person. Or people are tweeting Bravo and stuff saying they want you fired, which is ridiculous, but still, like, I think that you really just need to get it together a little bit with that. And I know you were trying to work on that, But that wasn't the way. And issue a public apology for that tweet. You don't have to apologize to Monique, but issue a public apology for that tweet because it was too much. Let me get into the episode. Let me just start by saying I didn't need to see Monique in this episode. She bores me. There's really nothing going on with her. She looks pretty, but she bores me. I don't get the hype around Monique. Every time I watch the show, I've never watched the show necessarily for her. She was one of my favorites. I'll give her that because, it's just people that you severely dislike on the show, but I wouldn't say that she makes the show. Like, sometimes I feel like they be piping her a bit as if she makes the show. Like, she does not make the show. But she meets with Ashley, Hey Arnold. I'm going to be referring to Ashley as Hey Arnold for most of this, because that's what the bitch looked like. So she meets up with her for lunch. Of course, Ashley brings her baby because we know her husband was out fucking and sucking somebody else. And so Monique gets there and Ashley's like, oh, you look good. And she's like, oh, because I've been away from the other ladies. Basically, this was Ashley messy moments. This whole episode was her being messy and nasty. And that's how I know that she is also in an alliance later in this season with Karen and Monique. Because even on the after show, Karen was just like, oh my God, like I should have told my friend Ashley what was going on. And it's like, bitch, Ashley always comes for Karen. One way or another, Ashley is coming for Karen. So I don't know what, like, I don't know. Like that whole thing is just a mess. But anyway, so Monique lets Ashley know that, oh yeah, Karen told me all about, the event or whatever. And she's wants me to go. She wants me to go. And so Ashley is like, what? And she told us in Portugal that she wasn't inviting you out of respect for everyone. So here comes messy ass Ashley actually calls Karen and basically puts her on the spot. And of course, Karen, backpedals and pretends she didn't say that and lies. But you did say that, Karen. And just own up to what the hell you said. And let's be very real here. And this is the honest truth. Karen invited the other ladies and didn't tell them about Monique because she wanted it to be filmed. If only Monique came, because Ashley would have probably made some excuse not to come. But if only Monique had came, it wouldn't have been put on the show. And this is an event. So let's be very clear. Because this is an event, you needed to have them there so that it was filmed and it would end up on the show. So that's the real reason. It had nothing to do with wanting both of your friends there, all that jazz, whatever. You wanted the most cast members there. You wanted to try to create drama and be messy so that your event was filmed. That's what it was. And they knew that you would be the right person. I'm going to get into all that. But yeah, so once again, Ashley just being messy. Like I told y'all, Ashley did not change. It's nothing wrong with Ashley. Let me clarify. There's nothing wrong with Ashley being messy. However, Ashley is very sinister and she plots. And that's what the biggest issue is. That sinister plotting is what Ashley's biggest issue is. And so when Ashley, she was putting through the pieces, it's like she only wants to be Monique's only ally so that she can then turn her back on Monique so Monique won't have anybody. Like I said, Ashley is in a couple of alliances and their alliances to benefit her. But yeah, Karen lied in the story. Over it. What else happened? Robin looking for houses that they can't afford. It wouldn't make sense. I would think if y'all went through all that stuff with losing all y'all money, y'all would just be a bit better. Like, who are you trying to press? Y'all could find a nice home in a nice area for $500,000 that y'all can easily pay off with her getting these Bravo checks. Like, I'm just not understanding why y'all looking at 1.6 million houses. Then talking about some of you're on a payment plan with the IRS. And you looking at 1.6 million houses, girl? Like, come on. I know you're not getting paid that much for Potomac. Now, y'all definitely going to get an increase. But you're not getting paid that much. You're not. You're just not. So yeah, I'm over it. What else? Wendy having a conversation with her mom about her wanting to what does she want to do? Oh, how she doesn't want to work at Johns Hopkins anymore. Listen, I get it, Wendy. Like you said, you're like in the Nigerian culture, your mom's gets a lot of praise for y'all, both you and your sister being doctors. But for me, it just did nothing for me. It's like a 40-year-old woman with children of her own talking like, oh, I want to pursue this. Like, girl, you still going to be making money. You still going to be doing stuff. I just, do whatever you want, Wendy, but I just didn't care. And I partially feel like someone else said this, but I do feel like it seemed like the scene happened before and they just kind of threw it in with this episode just as a filler, because a lot of this stuff was filler. Let's get on to Giselle and her girls. So first it was Grace. I believe her name is Grace, Giselle's daughter's 15th birthday. Giselle, no one, not even your own children, are buying that you're trying to get back with Jamal. Hang it up. It's like it comes a point where you're almost hurting them by sort of pressuring them to be around him for TV. It's like y'all all know he's probably not a good father, because look at how he barely sees them and y'all supposed to be getting back together on TV. So he's probably not that good of a father. And he was a terrible husband to you, a terrible partner to you. He's terrible. And like, you're just letting your children and their emotions and their feelings go to the side just for a check. And that's how I feel. And I don't like that. Like, and you forcing it on them. And then you can tell that you have, how y'all always trying to say Candace, you have a lot of maturing to do, because you got so defensive with your own kids because they're just not willing to care about what you're trying to do with their dad. Just like they showed another scene with the girls and the dad. Oh, you in Ghana, stuck in Ghana for this trip. Like, I meant for this, during the time of the photo shoot. Why would you go to Ghana? You should have been there with your family. Like, come on, you not. So the night before, you were supposed to fly back. And somehow nothing's going to happen with flights. As someone who seems to travel a lot, you know for a fact nothing is going to happen with that flight and all is going to be well. Like, come on, you didn't want to do it. Like, that's what I mean by this is all just really fake. And her daughters are suffering. And that's the sad part. Like, Giselle, anything for money. Like, what my problem is that I hate that the Candace and Monique fight even happened, because we could have read Giselle's ass the fuck down. Oh my God, we could have read her down. Like, she has a lot, like everyone else had a lot of stuff going on. It could have been quick, fun, shade and all that. But Monique had to ruin it by trying to fight somebody. And the deflection, that's what the fight served as. And I'll get into that. But it served as deflection, and it benefited everyone except for really Candace and Monique. But it benefited, well, even Monique, it benefited her because it got some of the weight off the rumors, but she couldn't handle the backlash, and that's why she had to then bring the rumors up. Anywho, yeah, Giselle, I'm over it. Like, I want them to read Giselle at this reunion, read her the hell down. Absolutely. What else? Let's get to Karen's little event. So at the event, Monique shows up. And let me tell you something. Karen, you wrong. You rushed that girl. Monique shouldn't have came. She shouldn't have been invited. And she shouldn't have came. You rushed that girl out of, like, it don't make no sense how you rushed that girl out of that house. I mean, out of that event. You were literally almost pushing her out of that event. You were so nervous. And it was funny because Candace was texting you. And here's my thing. Everybody's like, oh, Monique. No, Monique, next season, watch. If Monique is back and Candace is back and everyone is going to be back, watch. Monique feels some type of way about it. She feels some type of way about Ashley, too, because they're all in an alliance. They're not friends. They're in an alliance. So Monique knows I can't do anything to the two people who have my back. These two people are going to allow me to stay on the show. So I can't do anything to jeopardize that. So I'm going to let it fall off my shoulders. She wasn't unbothered by it. If it had been any other time, she would have been right with Giselle and Robin and them talking shit about Karen. Let's be real. But because of the situation she's in with nobody wanting to film with her, this is what happened. What else? Okay, so then she gets rushed away. You know, they tried to make it seem like the build-up, like, oh my God, Candace could come. Here's what I think about the situation. I feel like production utilized Karen. So yes, Karen, being messy and old and wanting your event filmed. They used you because they knew you was trying to get Candace to come early. Now, Monique tried to play it off in Watch What Happens Live. I do not think that they would have let Candace in the building with Monique. However, I think they would have created a situation, and Karen as well, where Candace got there, Monique hadn't left yet, and they made her stay out there, and it was a lot of tension, and Candace would have probably been crying, and Monique would have probably been a bit angry, and it would have created that drama. I think that that's what was trying to happen, but because Candace was running late and it didn't happen that way, or because Karen might have been like, no, this is going to make me look bad. Like, I can already see it making me look bad. Let's not do it this way. That's why it was her rushing her out, because you wanted Candace to come early and y'all wanted to create that tension moment. That doesn't mean that y'all wanted them to necessarily see each other, but y'all wanted to create that tension moment because y'all thought it would be good for TV. They get there. Candace slayed that blonde. Candace looks really good with blonde hair. I was surprised. That little blonde, Candace, you can get some blonde hair, girl. You looked really good. She looked better than everyone else who had blonde on. Wendy, of course, she had like a sewing wig, so she couldn't put one on. Robin looked like a grandma, a white grandma in that wig. It didn't work at all. Ashley looked okay, but it looked kind of cheap on her, like the wig. Candace looked the best. What else happened? What else happened? And so once again, Ashley being messy gives Karen some Tums and was like, oh yeah, because you were, what'd they say? Oh yeah, because you had an ulcer, right? So, but then, she reveals in front of the group, but you was drinking at, Chase's birthday party. That's what Monique told her. And I'm just sitting there like, are you serious? And this is why I'm saying it's an alliance, and I can't wait till next season to see how these people act. It was just like, are you fucking serious? Like, why would you bring that? It was just like they always hating on her event. I don't think Candace said anything bad, but like hating on her event in the confessionals, it was just a fucking mess. Like, I was over it. I'm sorry. And so she clears it up. And so Robin was like, well, are you afraid that if you drink, you know, something is going to happen or whatever? Like, you're going to say something that you don't want to say? And she was like, you need to be worried about what wine says. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, first and foremost, Cameron, this is how I can know this business venture is not serious for you. You doing this at your own event for a new business? Like I said, like, I don't care for Karen like that. Like, I like her in certain instances, but she definitely shown her true colors. She's a liar. She's messy and shady as hell. And guess what? That doesn't even look good on somebody who's almost 60 years old. Like, you ain't getting no applause from me, girl, when you almost 60 years old. Like, literally a mess. And why didn't you come at Ashley for bringing it up? And that's why I'm saying this is an alliance, but Ashley is not your friend, Karen. That's how I know it's an alliance. Ashley is always coming for you and in your marriage and everything. She be right along with Robin and Giselle. And so she has an alliance with you and Monique, and she has an alliance with Robin and Giselle. And she valued the alliance with Robin and Giselle more than she does the alliance with you and Monique. Watch. So, yeah, it was just out of left field. And then when they asked Karen in the confessional, she was like, we ain't going to talk about it. And I was just kind of like, Karen, you're doing too much. You doing way, way, way too much. Like, you are. What the fuck are you even talking about? I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And like I said, it was a good read, but it wasn't a necessary read because Robin didn't even start the conversation about you drinking. She asked a legitimate question. Well, are you afraid about what you'll say? Yeah, she asked it in front of Ray, but still, like, are you afraid of what you say? Like, it was ridiculous. Then, Ashley was just dropping a lot of tea about what Monique said, and Candace was like, and then she was like, oh yeah, Monique was here earlier, and then Candace was like, she asked me to come early, and that was make everybody like, are you serious? And then Karen came back over trying to show the little thing, and it was like, Karen, like you really it had Monique come, and then it was just like Karen tried to check them. Oh, I won't set your ass. I respect you guys enough not to set your ass up. That's what she said to Robin. Then Robin was like, who are you talking to? Are you talking to Candace? No, Robin. She was talking to you because she was coming for your neck. And when they left outside, it was just Ashley, like, oh my God, this whole episode, I don't even care. Ashley just was a messy asshole, and she's miserable as fuck because of who her husband is and the life that she has to live. And so she, like I said, Ashley always is the one. She started the stuff with Monique and Candace, and Monique just fell right for that shit. And now she trying to do the same thing with Monique and Karen and Candace and Cameron, and she has some unhealthy, Cameron used to say it, and I hope Cameron sees it, but she probably don't because she's in this little alliance, too old to be in an alliance. She don't need the alliance. Cameron should, I like Cameron when she's not trying to be alliance-y, but you can tell that Ashley has some unhealthy thing where she's trying to have Monique be by herself so that they can definitely get her off the show, but B, she's also trying to come for Karen, and I think Karen just cannot see it. Anyway, they be out in the parking lot. Here go Wendy, because she's like, she tried to set you up. That's not your friend. I don't know if they somebody need to come down and tap on that lace front, but that's not your friend. And that's exactly what she told Candace, and I'd agree. Karen is not her friend. So let me get into my overall thoughts. I'm just, they really made this fight. Everybody benefited from this fight. Monique benefited from this fight. She benefited and she also suffered. And she suffered because of the backlash. Monique, your little Not For Lazy Moms wasn't going to take off before this. But definitely with this, like, people are looking at you differently. They're seeing you for who you really are. And that is going to bite you in the ass. I've talked about it in the other videos. I'm not going to go too in depth, but it benefits you in a sense that the rumors about your family didn't come out and didn't take off as well. So that's why you was coming for Candace, because not only did you see her as the weakest link, but because y'all had a little issue last year, she was the easiest person for you to come after. And once you did what you did, you knew that the entire season would be about this fight. And that, and that's why you didn't apologize because you feel like you didn't have to apologize, but also you didn't want to have a sit down and do apologies and move forward and all that, because then that meant, okay, if that was 3-4 episodes, then you would be able to move on. And I mean, you would be, everybody would move on and start talking about those rumors. And that's what you didn't want. But at the end of the day, had you addressed those rumors and read the hell out of all those other bitches, it wouldn't have been no problem. Next, Robin, your tax issues, the way you came for Karen should have came for you right for your tax issues. Now, I'm not a tit for tat person, but your tax issues should have been talked about, because you be laughing right along with Giselle at everyone else's misfortunes. So your tax issue should have been talked about. Why not marrying you or wanting to marry you? It seems to be coming out later in this season of some stuff that's Juan supposedly said or whatever. But it could have been a good season where everybody would have been held accountable. But it wasn't because of this fight. Y'all benefited from it. And that's why y'all always adding y'all 2 cents, trying to see what Candace feels, bringing it back to the fight and all this stuff, because y'all are adding unnecessary layers to the fight, because y'all started the fight to deflect from y'all issues. Because those two are the main people who started the fight. Them with Ashley. They started that fight. They planted those seeds and played Monique like a fool and had that happen to Candace and then started playing Candace. But you see, the thing about it is that they can't play Candace too much, but they play her just enough to let her think that they was on her side. Ashley benefited you, but to get the attention off of yet another scandal with Michael. And it's probably more scandals to come and him cheating and all the stuff that come with your relationship to get more attention, because it would have been a lot more that came out about Michael this season if it hadn't been for the fight. So to get attention off of that, you wanted this fight to happen and you were happy when it happened. And then you kept adding fuel to the fire when you wrote that statement. Not only was it like a childish get back for you, but it was more so to keep the story going. You ain't team nobody, you team Ashley. You've always been team Ashley. You ain't friends with nobody. Who else? Cameron, same thing, because you felt like, yeah, you was open about your stuff with Ray, but I think it goes way deeper, and I honestly think they are on the verge of like divorce or separation, or they're just going to stay together but not want to be together. I wouldn't be surprised if they talking to other people too. But my whole thing is, or at least Cameron, but like I said, my whole thing is you wanted to get attention because you like, damn, I'm sharing a lot about my marriage, a lot of stuff that can be criticized. I want to take attention off of this. So let me, whoop the whoop. Let me pretend that I'm in the middle when you really wasn't in the middle. And here's why, because I have to get on Miss Karen Huger, who's almost 60, on a show with 30 and 40 years old, with the only other person being Turkey Goodlet, who's that old, which is Giselle. First and foremost, the one episode, the last episode of Portugal, when she was trying to say Candace acting in self-defense on her court documents was somehow her saying her fault or whatever the case may be. Why are you looking at court documents when you're a neutral person? When Ashley mentioned her writing a statement, did anybody notice how Cameron was like, yep, living your truth, or she said something along those lines during the episode? I said, Cameron already knew. So, Candace, you're on Monique's side to an extent because you already knew about the statement Ashley was writing. You already knew, you saw the court documents, but then on the flip side, you played it up by telling Candace, oh, I would press charges. And here's the thing. Monique said at one point in time she wanted to do mediation with Candace during court. Something Karen said was very telling in that episode, where Karen said, I tried to get her apologized. I tried to get her apologized. And I'm like, why the fuck is she saying this? And Candace like, you can't make a grown-ass woman apologize. Karen, you played the fence, but you also kept the shit going. Because I bet you those same days when whatchamacallit was trying to have mediation, I bet you was telling Candace, well, she says that she don't want to apologize. Well, she says she don't want to apologize. I can already see you helping Monique's case, and I hope you didn't do anything more with the case. That could be why Candace was mad, but I hope you didn't do anything more with the case. But it's a possibility you did. You did. And so you sitting there doing this with Monique, but then on the flip side, I bet you was running back telling Candace, oh, she ain't sorry, she ain't this, like you told on yourself. And therefore, you grimy to the both of them. But you were doing that to keep the story going because you want the attention off of you and Ray. And also, you was pretending to be in the middle because why? It makes you look good. Hey, you can't completely be on Monique's side because you have a brand, you have a business, you have investors. What Monique did was wrong. That would make you look bad. However, you don't want to completely alienate Monique's base, which is probably people who could help buy some of your stuff. And also, you're thinking strategically for the next season. And also, you didn't want more attention going back to your situation with Ray. And so, like I said, Cameron benefited from this fight as well. The only difference is she's the worst culprit in this fight. Because like I said, when Monique said mediation, I was like, I think you fake as fuck. But I'm like, you was probably telling Karen some shit, and Karen was coming back, Karen and Ashley, some shit that they was coming back and sharing with the group and sharing with Candace that your ass wasn't sorry, and adding fuel to the fire, and that's why Candace wasn't willing to film with you or talk to you. Not just the stuff that was happening. Like, I hope they get into that at the reunion, but Karen was playing sides. She was always low-key on Monique's side, but she didn't want the drama to end, and so, but she also didn't want to look bad, so she played it off, my two friends. You're in an alliance with Monique, but you had love for Candace, but what happened was, and this is what Candace had to learn, a lot of times people choose money and stuff like that over friendship. They love being on reality TV. They take that shit seriously. They make it seem like they're your best of friend on reality TV, but in real life, they're not. And so you look crazy when you was taking up for them and all that, because they would not do the same thing for you. And that's what you're experiencing right now. Wendy is truly your friend. This is her first season, but I do believe Wendy is Candace's friend. And I like having Wendy there because Wendy speaks sense. You can't say much about Wendy. Sometimes she can be a little much, but when she is in her element and there's a conflict, she speaks so much sense to the situation that there's not much you can say. So yeah, like I said, they all benefited from it. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, like I said, Ashley was not innocent, is not innocent. Ashley planted the seeds because she wants, here's the thing, she wants her to be the only person who's supporting Monique, quote unquote, but that also will help get Monique off the show, which is the plan that Giselle and Rhop and Ashley has. So none of them are really friends like that. I think Karen is going to regret giving up her friendship with Candace. I want Candace and Karen to make up. I do want them to make up. But however, I need to see how deep Karen's betrayal lies. And like I said, everybody wanted this to keep going. Everybody benefited from it. I'm over this fight. I'm over everything to do with it. I feel bad for Candace, but I'm over it. Is there anything else? Oh, the clip from next week. I'm gonna wait to see next week's episode. But I don't fuck with Michael. He acts like a bitch. Why is you gossiping like a bitch? All the other husbands usually stay out of the woman's business and all the petty shit. And you just be sitting here gossiping. Like you and Ashley, oh my God. You shouldn't even be on the screen because you sexually assault people. Allegedly. But you really do that shit. Like, come on. You shouldn't even be on there. And you trying to talk about Candace. And some of the language you was using came across very racist to me. And Ashley sitting there, Hey Arnold ass, sitting there, looking the fuck stupid while you're talking. And then y'all trying to insinuate stuff about wine. Like, yeah, I think Michael wants to suck Wine's dick the way that he always, like, is dick riding him. Mind your fucking business. It has nothing to do with y'all. And so, I just am waiting for this reunion, you guys. Like, seriously. But that's my review of Real Housewives of Potomac. Have a nice day.